Coming up on Around San Diego, a military jet crashes into the water near Shelter Island. We will have the latest updates. And the Trump administration is looking to end incentives for electric vehicles and cut money for charging stations. San Diegans weigh in. Plus, a list of the 100 most catfished photos of 2025 just released. We are working for you and we'll share what to watch out for to avoid getting caught yourself. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us as we take you around San Diego. I'm CBS 8's Jenny Day. I'll get you caught up on a week's worth of news and look ahead in less than 30 minutes. We begin with that military jet that crashed into the bay. The U.S. Navy is waiting for weather conditions to improve before pulling a jet out of our San Diego Bay. The jet crashed off Shelter Island Wednesday morning. Fortunately, the two pilots that were on board were able to eject before that jet hit the water. They were both rescued and were told that they are okay. Right now, the cause of that crash still under investigation. Well, now to the El Cajon City Council. They are set to implement a new immigration enforcement policy. This week, the council approved a controversial measure that will allow El Cajon law enforcement to work with ICE Immigration's customs enforcement agents. Right now, California state law forbids officers from assisting them. But again, the council passed it, citing they are not a sanctuary city.
America is in the process of change. America is in the process of putting America first again. Some people are not going to like that.
20 million people grabbed at churches and schools and rounded up on their way to work. We're not going to forget what you do here. We will be grateful if you protect our community, and we will be furious if you destroy it.
It passed in a 3-2 vote. The policy now lets police contact ICE agents if they arrest someone who has previously been convicted of committing an aggravated felony, is deported, and returns illegally. Mayor Bill Wells says this does not violate California state law. This as boats carrying migrants continue to show up along our coast. Some are concerned these rescue missions by San Diego lifeguards are diverting resources away from other emergencies. Right now, there are only 8 lifeguards covering overnight shifts on city beaches. The lifeguard union requested 2 additional lifeguards last year, but was denied. A spokesperson for San Diego Fire Rescue maintains they are not overwhelmed, but retired lifeguard Sergeant Frank Powell said it can be challenging.
The lifeguards are responding, and let's say at the same time there's an incident in Mission Bay, someone trying to swim across the channel, a boat catches on fire, there's no one to respond.
Yeah, the number of water rescues since President Trump took office is about the same as during the first 3 weeks of the Biden presidency. Well, new car buyers could see a jump in prices. The Trump administration is looking to end federal incentives to people who purchase electric vehicles. CBS 8's Steve Price spoke to experts who say that move could actually hurt all car buyers in California.
More questions than answers for people who are thinking about buying an electric vehicle. The Trump administration is looking to end incentives and cut money for charging stations. And here in California, that could actually affect all new car buyers.
Pulling the plug on a $7,500 credit for electric vehicle purchases and cutting funding for thousands of new charging stations across the country. President Trump signed an executive order last month that could slam the brakes on EV sales.
It's created a lot of uncertainty and chaos, right? Trying to figure out what the impact would be.
Stephanie Valdez-Streety with Cox Automotive says the timeline to build charging stations is sure to slow down. And with infrastructure a key concern for electric vehicle buyers, that's not good, especially here in California, where there's a mandate to hit 35% electric vehicle sales by the 2026 new car year or face serious fines.
We're very concerned that there's going to be serious disruption in the vehicle market and consumers aren't going to be able to access the vehicles that they want to buy.
Brian Moss with the California New Car Dealers Association fears car manufacturers will ship less gas-powered vehicles to the state to make sure they meet that 35% threshold. And with less supply, prices on all new cars are sure to rise.
I would encourage folks who are, especially those that are interested in a zero-emission vehicle, act now while the credits are still available. There's plenty of selection on dealers' lots.
Trump's move has some scratching their head because his biggest campaign supporter, Elon Musk, owns Tesla, whose sales were already heading in the wrong direction in our state.
Tesla's sales have dropped 5 quarters in a row in California, and his market share has been steadily declining over the last year.
But it's not just Tesla. New electric car sales seem to be plateauing in the state. So how will the industry convince more people to make the switch?
I think the key will be to have more affordable EVs in the marketplace, and we'll continue to see battery advancement technology improve. We'll have more density, more range, safer, lower cost.
Steve Price, CBS 8.
Steve, thank you. And the San Diego City Council is moving forward with a new homeless shelter option. They are looking into a privately owned building on 2nd Avenue to be bought and transformed, which could be ready in as soon as a year. The other two options were the old Central Library, which is vacant now, and the current city operations building soon to be vacated. All three buildings would require work. Between the old library and the operations building, that estimate was $130 million and 4 years time to get those ones ready.
Concerns that will either completely blow up our budget related to homelessness.
This part of downtown is ripe for revitalization. Look at everything that's going on in this area.
Yeah, the council decided to look into other uses for the library and voted to leave the operations building out of discussions. Staff will bring back their findings to the council later this year. We'll keep you posted. Well, the city of San Diego is considering a change to parking policies. The proposals include ending free parking on Sundays, as well as charging to park past 6 p.m. It also includes charging more for parking during busier times and charging special and higher rates for events at Petco Park and the Convention Center. Councilmember Stephen Whitburn says he's against charging residents past 6 p.m.
Park on the street. And when they come home from work and they park their car on the street, they should be able to go inside and relax for the evening. They shouldn't have to worry about going outside to plug the meter late at night.
Yeah, other proposals include charging to park at city beaches, which would require the Coastal Commission's approval, as well as at Balboa Park. If ultimately passed, these proposals could raise an estimated $100 million annually for the city. Meantime, San Diego Fire Rescue just gave the City Council a better picture of what we can expect this fire season and how prepared the department is to handle a major wildfire. Chief Dan Eddy provided an update on a number of things, including water pressure in the city, something that was a problem when those wildfires broke out in Los Angeles last month.
As you all saw in the Los Angeles fires, which we hope to have an after-action review in the next probably 6 to 9 months, there were issues with their water system, so we hope to learn from that as the city of San Diego and ensure that our systems are up to par.
Yeah, good news there. So as far as staffing levels, Chief Eddy says 52 stations are fully staffed, and San Diego Fire Rescue has nearly 1,000 firefighters to battle those fires. You can read more on CBS8.com. Now, speaking of, we are learning California's last resort homeowners insurance program needs $1 billion more to pay out claims related to the LA wildfires. That's according to the state insurance department. The FAIR plan is funded by major insurance companies to protect properties deemed too risky for standard coverage. The insurance department says this is the first time the program has sought approval from the state for additional money in more than 30 years. Well, now to another move at the White House this week. President Trump ordering the Treasury Department to stop making pennies because of the rising cost of minting them. According to the U.S. Mint, it costs almost 4 cents to produce and distribute a single penny. We talked to a financial expert, though, who says she's concerned that getting rid of pennies will force the U.S. Mint to make more nickels.
Costs a lot of money to make a nickel. It costs way more than it costs to make a penny. It costs about 15 cents to make a nickel. So it actually might not be the sort of cost-saving strategy that the president is really hoping for.
Yeah, it is still playing out whether President Trump has the power to stop the production of pennies, because it is Congress that authorizes the manufacture of our nation's coins. According to the U.S. Mint, they issued more than 3 billion pennies last year, which was more than half of the coins they produced. Well, coming up, a dog on the loose shut down Interstate 5 this week. We'll share the dramatic video and happy update. Well, Wonderfront Festival just released the first phase of its 2025 lineup. Headliners include San Diego's own Jason Mraz, multi-Grammy winner Anderson .Paak, and electronic DJ Peggy Gao. Wonderfront will be held across multiple downtown locations, including the Embarcadero, from May 16th to the 18th. Tickets are on sale right now. Well, we have an exciting update for you now. Henry the dog we introduced you to this past week after he slowed traffic on Interstate 5 has been reunited with his owner. The San Diego Humane Society shared these photos and video. They say Henry got out while staying at a friend's place near the I-5 and India Street on Monday. He was rescued by Good Samaritans off the highway. Henry has now been neutered, which explains that cute collar, and has been reunited with his loved ones. He even got a new name tag and some warm jackets for our weather. And county leaders joined health officials to raise awareness for heart disease this week. They kicked off the week-long Love Your Heart event, encouraging people to get their blood pressure checked. Heart disease is the second leading cause of death in San Diego County. A way to help prevent it is by checking that blood pressure regularly. We heard from one woman about the dangers of not doing so.
I felt really sick and decided to go to the ER. And when I was in the ER, they told me that I was having a stroke. I was in the ICU 4 days and in the hospital for 10 days with a walker at 38.
Yeah, the American Heart Association says while it is important to get screened by a health professional, they note that self-monitoring is also key. Do something good for yourself this weekend. All right, well, now to a list of the 100 most catfish photos of 2025. It's just been revealed, and experts warn scammers will be using those images to target lonely singles around this Valentine's Day. CBS 8's Shannon Handy is working for you on this story. She has more on what to look out for and shares one local man's warning after his images were used to steal money from unsuspecting victims.
Photos used for these scams include people of different ages and genders, even celebrities. Scammers use them to get someone to fall in love and then ask them for money, especially around Valentine's Day. Social Catfish, a company that verifies online identities using reverse search technology, says these are the 100 most catfish photos of 2025, along with a warning. If you're talking to someone online who is using these photos, you're likely involved in a romance scam. It's something Tristan King knows all about.
The very first time I realized my images were being stolen for scams was back in 2018.
The Marine veteran has a large social media presence, working as a mental health advocate and fitness and nutrition coach. He says his images have been used countless times to scam people from all over the world. Some pretend to be him, others make up a different identity.
I've gotten messages from people, sharing how much money they've lost, tens of thousands of dollars. Even some that have lost their homes, their cars. It's been a huge damper on my life, for sure.
Tristan says he and his family have been on the receiving end of threats. He's tried to prevent anyone else from being victimized by watermarking his photos, posting about the scams, and publicly speaking out in news articles and talk shows. Still, they continue, with these scammers now using AI to make their lies even more believable.
Yeah, I mean, I've had people that have literally said, well, we actually chatted on video chat. Don't you remember? And I'm like, no, because that didn't happen. AI is very good nowadays. Like, people have actually thought that they've talked to me face to face.
I checked with the Federal Trade Commission and found Americans lost $1.14 billion to romance scams in 2023, up from $547 million the year before. California ranked #1 in the nation with 2,024 victims, losing over $100 million. So how can you protect yourself? Social Catfish gave me a list of tips. Perform a reverse image search to verify someone's someone's identity, never send money to online acquaintances, insist on video chats to confirm identity, be cautious of claims involving military service or living abroad, and be wary of individuals who express love or commitment too quickly.
It's just all about being vigilant at this point.
To see the most catfish photos or to find out more about romance scams and how to stop them, go to CBS8.com and click on this story. Shanna Handy, CBS 8.
Some stuff you just wish you didn't have to worry about at all. Still ahead, how one man was able to save his family from a house fire. That story coming up. Welcome back. Really a terrifying night for a San Diego family after their house caught fire and filled with smoke. This happened on Manzana Way in Bay Terraces early Tuesday morning. And as CBS 8's Alex Lai discovered, this could have been a deadly disaster, but for one brave man.
I can still smell the smoke and ash in the air from when this house caught on fire at 1:30 in the morning. Luckily, all 6 people were able to get out before fire crews arrived, thanks to a heroic act. Where there's smoke, there's fire. That's what woke up Christian Hernandez May in the middle of the night.
Yeah, so I heard the fire alarm go off, and I heard banging on the walls, and I opened the door and saw the smoke, and I immediately woke up my girlfriend and told her, like, hey, we need to go.
He helped her out of the window onto the patio cover.
Then I went to my grandpa's window in the master bedroom. I was yelling for them to come out, and he was waiting on my grandma, but luckily she made it through the front door.
Christian used a ladder from the backyard to help everyone down. Then fire crews arrived to put out the blaze and evaluate the residents. Christian says both his grandparents, his uncle, great-grandma, and girlfriend were inside, along with a dog.
So we did transport 4 residents, 3 of which were burned, and 1 that had smoke inhalation.
Deputy Fire Chief Brian Rains was on the scene.
It appears to be accidental, possibly an appliance on the 2nd floor, but we're still investigating to confirm that.
The San Diego Fire Rescue Department estimates about $500,000 in damages to the structure and $250,000 in damages to the contents inside. Thankfully, the smoke alarm went off and Christian woke up before anyone was seriously injured.
A great reminder to make sure that everybody has working smoke alarms. On this fire, it definitely saved lives and was able to alert the residents so that when we arrived, within about 4 minutes, the residents were already starting to exit the house.
Rain says to always make sure your smoke detectors are working when we switch the clocks for daylight saving time and to replace batteries when needed. All 6 residents and the dog are currently displaced and have been offered support from the Red Cross. A fire investigation is ongoing. I'm Alex Lai for CBS 8.
Boy, right place, right time. So sincerely glad that they're all okay. So remember, if you do have a story you'd like to share or have us look into something for you, email workingforyou@cbs8.com. Well, that will do it for us. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks as always for staying informed. For CBS 8, I'm Jenny Day. Take such good care.